Hey.
Outlaws.
Welcome to episode 90 of the Middle-Aged Outlaws podcast, where there'll be no technical hitches, and today we'll discuss a WrestleMania 10 years in the making, as Adam, the WWF Championship, is put online not once, but twice. And for the first time ever in WrestleMania history, there's no Hulk Hogan to be seen anywhere. Can you name the other wrestler who has been on WrestleMania 1 to 9 who's not on this show? Maybe giving you some sort of heads up that I was going to ask you. That might have been a shout.
Are we told that are they performing in ring?
They performed in ring 1 to 9. They're not in 10.
They performed in ring 1 to 9.
I'll give you 3 guesses.
This is very difficult. It's obviously not Savage because he's on this and he wasn't in 1. I don't even know if I can come up with 3 guesses. Greg the Hammer Valentine.
That's a good guess, but it's a no. That's a good
Tito
guess, by the way.
Santana.
Yes!
Yes!
That's amazing. In your face, Quizmasters. That's class.
Yes.
Well done. So whilst
I was going model Rick Martel with my third if I hadn't.
Nice. Him and Tito Santana are the same guy, basically. So.
Well, they were a tag team, I think, for a little bit.
Were they Strike Force?
I think so, yeah.
There you go. So whilst there's no Hulk Hogan, much to your annoyance, and there's no Tito Santana, there is Burt Reynolds, Donnie Wahlberg, looking decidedly. He looks. I always think Donnie Wahlberg here looks like the guy he looks like Andy Samberg in the Mother Lover video. And we also get Leilani Kai.
Leilani Kai? Yeah.
What a treat.
Oh.
You've put over WrestleMania 10 as the greatest thing to ever be recorded ever, I think is what you said.
Is that my words? Yeah. Yeah.
Film, TV shows, music video, anything.
Anything.
You say it's the greatest show ever, and I've got some things to say about that today.
Okay. I mean, I will acknowledge that there's like a couple of moments that aren't the best, but that's it. That's all.
That's it. You still stand. If you had to name a top 5 wrestling pay-per-view shows, this would be in it, right?
I think if I was naming them just off the top of my head, it probably would be, yeah.
It wouldn't be one, though, would it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd have to do a bit of research. But yeah, I don't think it's the greatest wrestling show of all time, but I think it's got some fantastic moments.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We can talk about it. So we're in Madison Square Garden. We are at the culmination of where we started last year in 1993 with King of the Ring 1993. We're at the culmination of a lot of different stories that have played out throughout our viewing over the last few months. We've got Savage and Crush finally coming to blows. We've got the final push of the Lex Luthor, I always got to say Lex Luger, Lex Express. It's finally running out of gas. We've got Bret and Owen. We've got Doink and Bam Bam. Yeah, we've got some good things and some other stuff as well. So yeah, like I say, we're in Madison Square Garden. We've got Vince and the King. I like how he's billed as the King.
Yeah.
On commentary. Is this his first shot on commentary, as far as you're aware?
I think it's definitely the first WrestleMania.
Right.
I think he's done a bit of TV. Like, I think he's been on TV shows, but I'm not even sure if he's done many other significant pay-per-views at this point.
Nah, I don't think so. I did watch the Raw prior to WrestleMania, the Go Home Raw, if you will, but there is not. They literally don't do any storyline stuff at all on it. They're building up. What did I say it to you? It was called again. It's like WrestleMania, something like a pre-show, like how they did for the Survivor Series thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're really pushing this. And what was it going to be? Yokozuna versus... Oh, God, I can't remember now. Somebody was fighting for a title. I can't remember. Okay. As if Yokozuna's going to lose the title a week before wrestling.
If it had all gone wrong for Big Yoko, it could have thrown all the plans up in the air.
Good job they weren't doing these when Vince Russo was booking. He would have been swerving all over the place. Let's get into this 5-star golden pay-per-view, shall we?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so Vince kicks us off introducing Mark Mero to sing America the Beautiful. That's my mistake. It's Little Richard. And to be fair to young Richard, it's absolutely class. Maybe the best rendition there's ever been of America the Beautiful.
It's absolutely belting it. Yeah. Yeah, I do. It's funny because Mark Mero he just does instantly come to mind. Is that who he was based on?
Must be. Yeah. What was he called in WCW again, Mark Mero?
Oh,
he can't have been called Little Richard because that would have been.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I don't.
I feel like he was though.
You directly at it, but
Johnny B. Bad.
That was it. Yeah.
Absolutely nothing like Little Richard. So, match 1 kicks us off. We get a nice little video package of what's all went down since Survivor Series between Bret and Owen. Some great stuff that we've covered across our last few episodes.
Yeah.
What a match to kick off a pay-per-view. Bret versus Owen.
This is fantastic. I loved it. I love right from the off. Owen is out first. He's got the heel character down. He's got it. He has the shades on. He tears them up.
Yeah.
I love a bit of Owen here. His facial expressions are brilliant. He's just he's lapping it up in this heel role. Yeah.
He's a little tamed down because on the Raw before he takes the glasses over to a little kid and crumples them up and like sort of lets them drip on the child's head. He's maybe been told to tame that one down a little bit.
Not for a WrestleMania Owen.
Someone I liked immediately is Jerry Lawler, for all his faults, is the perfect co-commentator in the heel role to have for a Bret versus Owen match because he's immediately straight in with the Stu and Helen jokes, Helen's in hospital and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And he's got the fairly recent storyline issues with Bret that he'd been going through, although Owen was a bit more on Bret's side at that moment in time.
He was. Do you know what? You're saying about Owen's character. He's got the character now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I really like and what I think I noticed? Maybe just creating little narratives for my own enjoyment, but I think this is what I see. It started off with Owen's frustration with Bret, and I feel like it's evolved from frustration, total annoyance to being his shadow, to I'm the better wrestler, and now it's anytime he does a move or anything like that and gets the upper hand, he's playing to the crowd to say like, look,
yeah,
I am the better wrestler.
Because he believes he is, and he's just trying to make sure everyone else can see it. It's great.
Like, imagine saying that he doesn't have good sort of character work or anything. Owen Hart is absolutely brilliant here.
Yeah. I think we talked the last time about the difficulty is for Owen where you go post Bret, but in this role he's got it and it's perfect. It just works.
100%. I'm going to get nitpicky.
Okay.
I don't know if you'll picked up on this because you've been too busy like smothering yourself in Vaseline and enjoying yourself watching this, but even the way that they're locking up is really bothering me.
Oh no.
They're really softly, I wish you could go back and watch it, they're really softly going through the motions, locking up.
Oh no, surely not.
Honestly, that's total nitpicky and really gimpy, but it was bothering me.
I felt really into it quickly. So when Owen slapped Bret in the face, I was like, oh yes, I'm here for this. I've probably got a lot more in my notes about what Owen was doing, and I figured, you're Bret's guy, so you'll have all the Bret stuff. But then I started to think, were we maybe both a little bit pro Owen as we were getting towards the build-up of this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I said the last time at Survivor Series 100. Oh no, that was Rumble. But Survivors. Oh God, was it the Rumble? No, it was the Rumble. It was the Rumble because remember Bret didn't tag in or anything like that. Yeah, I'd went into watching it thinking I'm going to be on Bret's side and came out thinking he is the heel here. I would guess Bret's probably calling this match, but I thought Owen was a far superior wrestler in this match.
Yeah. I think traditionally it often is the heel that calls it, but when...
So you're saying Bret would have been calling it?
Well, I was actually going to go the wrong way there, wasn't I? Because I said, but when there's, the difference in experience, maybe it would be the so-called babyface here. But yeah, there was something that annoyed me a wee bit about Vince in this match.
What was that?
He's so pro Bret. Like, obviously, you need the balance because King is going anti-Bret.
Over the top.
And I get it. But I felt like he's not letting you as an audience member figure out the story for yourself. Some people will only watch a WrestleMania. Some people will have only seen the build-up video and then watch the match. And I felt like Vince was going so over the top and telling you why Bret was the good guy here and Owen was the bad guy. And I started to think, does he maybe think the way that they've told the story, some people would think Bret was the bad guy because of that whole thing at Rumble, which, we play on and we sort of joke about, but Bret wasn't really in the right with what the reaction. Owen was in the wrong, you could say, but Bret, kind of wasn't in the right. But every few minutes, Vince is talking about how Bret protected Owen as a kid and stopped him getting beaten up in school, and I'm like, I don't need this.
No.
Just tone it down a wee bit, Vince. He's never been one to tone it down on commentary.
And lay it on thick. It annoyed me that they went back to the sore leg, sore knee. It's maybe just from the Rumble being so recent, from having watched the Rumble so recent, but I've already watched a full pay-per-view of him limping about the shop. And here we are again, subjected to him. And what's his name? Owen wraps his knee around the ring post, and I was like, put him in the figure four, because that's what Bret would have done. But he didn't do it. That was really disappointing.
Yeah, I had no issue with going back to the knee because, some knee injuries, they take quite a while to shake off. I'm fully believing he's still favouring the knee here. I liked, and I assume, you've got to think Bret has a lot of sway in, how a match is told, especially in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
They had, for significant chunks of this, Owen out wrestling Bret, which it gives Owen a lot. Which is good. That's what you want if you're going to elevate him. And they made it seem at times like there was an arrogance to him, which there should be. He should have. You talked earlier about how he has got to this stage now where he truly believes he is the best wrestler, and I think the way he was working, as well as the facials and all that, were telling that story as well, which I enjoyed.
Nice. They did. So I was reading that they wanted to go for like a Steamboat Savage type of match.
Okay.
Full tilt, lots of close pinfalls, that sort of thing. And they did it on a house show, and the crowd were cheering for Owen. So they apparently put together this on the fly, pretty short notice on the day, with Stu Hart.
I also got a bit annoyed, and this has annoyed me with Bret in the past. This is a guy, excellence of execution. He never hooks a leg in a cover. Never.
Oh, no, he doesn't, does he? But he holds down both arms, though.
He's sometimes just his two arms over, a minimum body weight on the guy. Now,
Steve Austin would not like that at all.
I remember hearing all the stories about, how Bret, when he got his first world title, he was defending it every week. He was going hard. They talked about the risk of fatigue and all that. Probably could have won some of the matches in half the time if he just hooked a leg, one of the early pin attempts.
Could have done the Repo Man 6 minutes, no, 12.
Yeah.
Or Skinner. Could have been a lot quicker. That's a good point. That's a great point. I liked this match, but it wasn't perfect, and I expected it to be perfect, and that's my own expectations going into it. And I've seen it, obviously, a bunch of times, but I just expected perfection. I expected Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle, and I didn't get it, and I was disappointed by that. Bret taps out to Sharpshooter, by the way.
He taps out to the Sharpshooter.
And then Hebner goes like, "Oh, I'm going to ring the bell," and he's like, "Oh shit, that's not the finish." But Bret taps out to the Sharpshooter.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, he taps, and then, like I say, Hebner's like got his hand up, like he's going to get him to ring the bell, but he stops. Mm-hmm. But then obviously we get the victory roll, sit down, finish anyway. Mm-hmm. So justice is served.
I think I maybe picked up on some of your what we wanted Owen to do with the leg, because I've got sweep the leg, Johnny, and things like that in my notes. He didn't go for it quite as viciously as he could have. What do you? I assume there's no debating that the right outcome was come to here.
I don't know. This is my issue with this show a little bit. It's just some of the booking on it is a bit
some
weird.
Of it later on I have a big issue with, in particular one match. This I didn't have an issue with because I think you obviously know where you're going. And
you don't really have any other... Like, I guess Bret would want Owen to get the win that elevates them both, because obviously he's going on to win the title.
Yeah.
But the guy that's about to win your title, this show doesn't really make Bret look very strong at all, actually. But they're maybe thinking his character can take that.
Yeah, I think that the fans are there with him enough as well to go with it. I was a bit sickened by the crowd pop that Bret got. I thought, this is really harsh on Owen when Bret came out. But they're obviously with him. He gets a brilliant reaction when he comes out. And I think there was a little bit of a state of shock in the crowd.
That's got the win. That's good though. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine this pay-per-view happening now and Owen no get involved in the main event.
Yeah, I get that.
What did you think? So afterwards, Owen is celebrating like you sort of expect him to, and he goes backstage and he's with Pettingill. What do you think his post-match promo, where he's like clearly reading cards or looking at somebody like they're going to murder him?
It wasn't good, and that was a shame because it's felt like he's been pretty good. And this, it felt like it was maybe just so scripted because they're like, this is what you have to get across in this. And was this the one when he had the thing on his face as well, which was really distracting? Like
spittle on his...
Yeah.
That's that was unfortunate as well.
Todd can see that. I don't know why he's not,
I know.
doing something before they start chatting. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously been told you have to do the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be line, because it is like he's just reading that. And we talked at the Rumble when he's done the post-match, apart from that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg. It was a really good promo because I don't know, it seemed authentic, whereas this did seem like, here's the lines you're being fed, say them. There you go.
I wondered, it was a relatively long match, an intense match. They expect him not to be able to remember what to say. So here's the cards. It was a shame. Put a little bit of taint on the performance. Okay, our next match is a mixed tag match between Bam Bam Bigelow and his main squeeze Luna Vachon taking on Doink the Clown and Dink the Clown. Not the first ever mixed tag match in WrestleMania history, I don't think. I think before that we would have had Dusty and Sweet Sapphire, would we?
Yeah, that'd be right, yeah.
Who's that against? Savage and Sherry?
Yeah.
Was it?
I don't know why I'm getting Dink v Luna on a WrestleMania.
I know.
Sure. And it's definitely not Matt Bourne here anymore as Doink. It's just done. The whole Doink thing. It's done. It's finished.
And has there ever been a bigger downfall? He's went from the top of the mountain facing Crush at WrestleMania 9 in what some people consider one of the greatest matches of all time to this. It's just in 12 months. He's really fallen off.
I'm a Bam Bam guy, and I hate this for him.
Same. See, when I see him missing elbows on Doink, I just think, no, Bam Bam.
That was really annoying.
This isn't fair. This is damn right inappropriately using talent. Get him off somewhere else.
I've actually written, seeing Bam Bam leaping for and missing Dink is enough to make me glad the network's disappearing.
Amazing. A couple of things did tickle me during this match. King was desperate to see Bam Bam get his hands on Dink, which was making me laugh quite a lot. And Luna had zero consideration for the safety of Dink during this match.
Yeah, she was dangerous.
She nearly took his head clean off.
Yep. Poor Dink. I was thinking with the Lawler stuff, I assume, Memphis, they probably had a lot of this kind of thing on the go, so he'll have absolutely loved it.
He's a veteran in it. I was very concerned when Dink went to the top rope and he just jumped down and landed on his feet. I thought we were going to end up with like a sort of Sid leg snap sort of scenario. Vince says at one point, Dink is a powerhouse in his own right.
Yeah.
Why did he say that?
I think he's taking the piss and he knows it.
The best thing about this match is after the match. So who wins? Oh, at least Bam Bam and Luna get the win.
Yeah.
Slight bit of justice. But Luna and Bam Bam go to splash Dink. Mm-hmm. But he rolls. I mean, he's too small to roll. He's rolling the wrong way. So he rolls he rolls out the way of Bam Bam, but he just rolls right into Luna's path and she lands on him.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think they both, it's a good thing it's Luna that hits, because,
Bam Bam. Yeah. Could have a flat Stanley type of situation on the go there. They pan to a fake Bill Clinton impersonator in the crowd and he's waving and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that at all.
Nah. Quite not a bad look-alike, but don't
to the point where you maybe questioned if it was.
The first couple of seconds when they showed him, I thought, could that be? And then I saw the whole setup thing they were going for, and I saw IRS in behind. I remember, and I thought, nah.
This is. As comical as it is to suggest that something's beneath wrestling, but this felt like it was beneath WrestleMania.
Yeah.
This is like raw behaviour.
Yeah.
Okay, next match. If we had been watching this in the time, if this was 1994 and we'd been watching this, imagine how much we'd been looking forward to Crush v Savage.
Yep.
Like, it's an amazing rivalry.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think they've properly got their hands on each other yet.
Yeah. Yeah, so the build is there. You're ready for this. Desperate to see them. And then...
Bizarre that they went to a Falls Count Anywhere match for their first match.
I don't get it. And also, the whole structure of this match is weird. Right, so it's not just Falls Count Anywhere. It's you pin the guy out wherever you choose to pin them. And then they have 60 seconds to get back to the ring. Now, so you're saying you can't pin them in the ring now, right? So you can't win the match in a normal way. So it's going to go to the outside. And I had a few issues with this. Firstly, we'd loved the build.
Yes.
There's no video package for it.
Oh, that's glaring.
If somebody hasn't been watching, this will seem just a thrown together match. This just is what it is. Two guys.
It's arguably been the best part of the programming. Yeah.
And yeah, I just thought it was a huge mess not to do a video package
Agreed.
for it. And the whole, I just did not like the sort of clunky nature of the way the match had to be won, being that you have to pin them, but also in some way incapacitate them enough to not be able to make it back to the ring. So they kind of sell. There's an early on one. I think it's where Crush has been taking Savage out on the mat on the entranceway. It's like suplexes him out there, I think, and there's a few other moves he does on him, and I think Fuji's maybe hit him with the flag over the back and stuff like that, just as he's trying to get back in the ring to beat the count. And I thought, all right, they're selling this. They're going to really, tell the story of the odds are against Savage here, and he's going to fight his way back in heroically. I'm a Savage guy. I like Savage, always have. But the other thing was, for me, the way they did this story, and the match isn't very good, but the way they've done this story, I now find the finish really weird. Like, Vince has already basically decided Savage isn't an in-the-ring guy anymore. He's had him on commentary, he's had him sidelined and all that. Yep. And they bring the big guy back after an injury. They've repackaged him, they've made him a heel, and he just loses this match.
Aye. And where's he go?
Yeah.
They've done an amazing job. We both know what Crush is like, and we've watched this and then been like I'd have no issue with if at King of the Ring '94 it was Crush v Bret Hart. If Crush had beat Savage here.
And if you want to put even more heat on Crush than you've got just now, have him absolutely destroy one of the most beloved guys. Like, make it vicious. Make him really take him out. So I just didn't understand why they went this way with it.
Nah, me neither. I don't know how long Savage is. And he must have jumped round about 94, mustn't he?
Yeah, I think he probably did. I don't think he's not on Mania 11, is he?
Nah, this is his last Mania.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. It really is disappointing, and they totally botch the finish.
Yeah.
Anyway, I actually feel bad for Savage because somebody should have been there helping him or something.
Like the way he was tying the knot and then pulling him up by the boots. I don't know. The setup wasn't simple enough. I don't think. Mm-hmm. I think what he needed now. He's still tied, so yeah, you can explain if he had looked in any way capable of getting up, it wasn't going to happen because he was tied up. But he was clearly supposed to be hanging by his boots, and they just couldn't.
He falls down. He's sort of looping his foot back in the hole of the rope. Yeah. One absolutely beautiful piece of wrestling that we saw was a standing tilt-a-whirl from the king of the tilt-a-whirl, Crush.
Yeah, he loves that tilt-a-whirl.
Absolutely beautiful. Love to see that. I was questioning whether there was disqualifications in this match, but then Vince starts shouting about it being no holds barred.
Yeah, because there's assault in the eyes, isn't there? But Crush ends up getting it in his own eyes.
But they're doing it like sort of, like trying to hide it from the ref and stuff.
Yeah, which is odd if it doesn't matter.
And Fuji's attacking him with the ref's back turned. See? This is not the masterpiece you painted to be.
I thoroughly enjoyed the first match, and I only need 2 top matches to put it up there.
We've got Blaze Kai. Fair enough. I was confused when Savage hit the flying elbow and then rolled him at the ring. I was like, "What is he doing?" But then he was going to pin him.
Yeah.
It just makes the rules just look ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the 60 seconds thing totally just slows everyone down. It's like a last man stand.
Yeah,
go hammer and
tongs. Definitely one where I felt like because I Crush, it was maybe after the elbow and the rollout. He was right next to the ring, and I was thinking he can have a little nap here, and he'll still make it back in time for the 60 seconds.
And they were doing that as well, weren't they? They were doing it like right up until the last minute. So I think also, what would be to stop the guy like pinning him and then just continuing to beat him up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I assume it's only the guy that's been pinned that needs to make it back to the ring in the 60 seconds. So you just physically stop him from actually getting back to the
ring. So Savage finds some sort of what you call that, like a pulley type device, and tries to hang Crush upside down, but he just makes an arse of it, and Crush falls to the floor. Doesn't make it back in 60 seconds. We cut to the ring, and for some reason Savage is just beating fuck out of Mr. Fuji, which made me laugh at least. But you're right, why did Savage win this?
I know that they always had, WWF always had the reputation for wanting to send the fans home happy. You have to have a bit of balance, and this was your perfect opportunity in the night. You know, you've had the heel, technically, Owen get the win. Build it up a bit, have Crush the heel get the win, and then, you know, it's just looking like it might not be a night for the baby faces.
Nice, I like that. It was I'm just looking to see when Savage jumped. 95. Oh no. He made his first appearance for WCW in December 94.
Right.
Looks like the last show he was on. He worked some Smoky Mountain Wrestling shows. Oh, his last show was SummerSlam, where he served as the Master of Ceremonies.
Okay.
There you go. So that did nothing, absolutely nothing for him, unless it was a thank you and goodbye, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay. They cut to Savage, and he's like in a different part of Madison Square Garden, like shouting at people like a maniac. That was after we did the whole Pettingill with Bill Clinton, the fake Bill Clinton and IRA. Did Bill Clinton have like tax evasion charges or something?
I'm assuming there was something. But yeah, as soon as I knew IRS, I saw IRS, I knew what was coming.
Our next match, which Nikolai Volkov greatly enjoyed, by the way, is for the Women's WWF Championship. We have never seen. We have been watching since King of the Ring 93 and never seen a women's match on Raw or on pay-per-view. But here we have a champion. It's Alundra Blaze. She looks exactly like that blonde guy from Blades of Glory. And she is facing Leilani Kai, who I just assumed was what do you call her? Fabulous. She looked a bit like a Fabulous Moolah a little bit.
Okay.
And King kept saying that she was like really good looking. I don't know what he was.
Yeah, that was an odd take. And I mean, if you're just being the heel, but that's what you're saying, I don't know. It seemed odd. But I think Leilani Kai was maybe one that was Medusa'd coming up through her career. I think, you know, or was it Moolah? Moolad. In terms of having to give up loads of her earnings and
really?
And being maybe made available to.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a Dark Side episode. Dark Side of the Ring, aye.
Yeah.
God, that's fucking dark.
Yeah.
Let's lighten things up a bit. Is that Mike Chioda with a mullet?
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. What do you think of the match? Did you think anything of the match?
Not an awful lot. I mean, I noticed they had Leilani Kai was just absolutely beating the shit out of Alundra Blaze in the early stages, just destroying her. And then it kind of felt like, and this seems harsher if you're only having like one women's match a year, that the champion. It felt like it was a bit. She stole the win. That's kind of how it came across. She stole it with a roll up. So yeah, and the King just mocking it basically all the way through. Yeah. No, I mean, women's wrestling then wasn't what they make it now. So, you know.
I was just looking to see when Bull Nakano came around, but she was SummerSlam. So not the next pay-per-view, but the same year. Because she was a great women's wrestler. Yeah, this absolutely stunk, didn't it? They show you Mae Young, and Mae Young looks exactly like how she looks at like Royal Rumble 2000, which is bizarre.
Yeah.
She may have a bit of pregnancy glow at that point, actually, around about Royal Rumble 2000. But yeah, Nikolai Volkov's I was like, who's that? And then they said it, and I was like, oh, so it is. Aye, brilliant.
Did he have a big full head of hair?
Yeah, didn't he normally have that, did he?
No, I think it was always shaved pretty
head,
close.
Aye.
Yeah.
Was it Nikolai Volkov that was in the tag team with Duggan? Aye.
Yes.
They were like...
Yeah, kind of buffoons.
Yeah. Beautiful way of putting things, because talking of buffoons, it's the tag team titles being defended up next. It's our boys, the Quebecers. They're taking on Men on a Mission, and I did not take a lot of... I was annoyed. We've refused to discuss Men on a Mission matches pretty much because they just are pretty annoying.
I won't lie. My belief in the show started to wane a wee bit. Like the last match and this match, I was thinking, that's not great. But what I did was I fully got myself behind the Quebecers in the hope that they would pull one out of the bag for me.
And?
Well, I was left a bit disappointed, unfortunately.
Another massively... The same person that booked Lex Luger to win by count out at... what was that? SummerSlam 93 obviously booked this match as well. What was the end of this match all about?
So Johnny Polo pulls his guy, as one or both of them, away and out of the ring. So Men in the Mission get the count out win, but Quebecers will keep the titles for that purpose. But like, we've quite liked certainly some of the stuff we've seen with the Quebecers. You know,
they're good characters.
They're a good team. Yeah.
And they've been involved in like the sort of higher up the card stuff with the Survivor Series and all that, and obviously with Bret and Owen.
And I like, you know, the Pierre guy's a big guy, and you get things like Jacques, he'll backdrop him onto the opponent and stuff like that. I'm fully there for that kind of stuff. But I was thinking, are they going to put the titles on Men in the Mission here? But then I started thinking, I couldn't remember if the timeline was right, but if Mabel is going to win King of the Ring, then they're surely not putting the belts on them here. So then what I wanted was a good, clean win for the Quebecers and just get rid of Men in the Mission as a team.
Nice.
Yeah.
Didn't work out that way, did it?
Nah.
Shall we move on?
Yeah. It wasn't good.
Nah. It was supposed to be Steiners versus the Quebecers. But
fun.
And it would have been a blow-off for all that had went on previously. The Steiners wanted new contracts that said that they could wrestle in New Japan, so Vince said, no.
Okay. What did you think of all as we're going through, they kept doing Mania flashbacks?
I just fast-forwarded them.
What I found weird, and I can understand why it happened, because obviously he was such a big star of them, but I felt in the early stages of doing them, they were deliberately doing everything they could to avoid saying, here's Hulk Hogan, who's not here now. Because obviously this is the first one he's not been at. Although I don't think, had he signed for WCW at this point?
No, I don't think so.
So he was still trying to be an actor, Thunder in Paradise and all that. Yeah, okay.
Something that was starting to get on my wick was the sort of celebrity stuff that was going on throughout. And WrestleMania and celebrity has always been a thing from WrestleMania 1, so it's not a knock on that or anything like that. I understand why they do it, but we had a thing with Todd Pettengill was with a lady called Rhonda Shear. Shawn Michaels jumps in and he's being outrageously sleazy with her. But not to be outdone, Burt Reynolds jumps in and just ups the sleaze factor, but to 11. And he's got a weird mitt on his hand, which was just weird.
But did they say he encountered an intruder or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it was. They didn't say it, but both Michaels and Burt Reynolds have posed for the centre fold of Playgirl, haven't they? Why do we both know that?
This is just the world we live in.
Apparently so. Talking of celebrities, we are then introduced to Rhonda Shear, who's going to be our timekeeper for the next match. Our guest... Sorry, I was just wondering if I'd missed something, but I see it's further down. Our guest ring announcer is going to be Donnie Wahlberg, and then Donnie Wahlberg introduces the special guest referee. Who, am I right in saying that they were going to be surprises, the guest referees for these title matches? Yeah, that's what they were saying.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Mr. Perfect. Where's he been? Adam, has he been in WCW?
No, I think he just went off TV for a while, and the storyline. Well, no, the real reason was like a family issue or something like that, right. And then he resumed. I think from here on, because he's fully back in for a little while from here. I think.
Right. So at WrestleMania 9, it was Perfect Luger, wasn't it? And he was Narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
So we've come full circle again with him officiating Lex Luger's title match against Yokozuna. I think Vince is very close to exploding in his trousers during Luger's entrance. He is getting far too excited. What do you think of this title match between Luger and Yokes?
Right. I have two thoughts around it. Right?
Just two.
So, firstly, we know what the outcome's going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yokozuna's going to retain. If you're doing that because you're going with Bret, I probably wouldn't have Yoko look like he was just getting his ass absolutely kicked in this match, because we'll come on to another thing about that later when we get to the second title match.
Yep.
But if you were to watch these title matches side by side, you would be thinking Lex Luger's the man and Bret Hart is some sort of lucky
total chump.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, like, you've decided that's the way you're going. I understand you not wanting to bury Luger, but it's Yokozuna. He's massive. He's been champion for ages.
Yeah.
Just give him a convincing win over Lex here. Have him go in to his other title match full of confidence. I'm the man. I'm now going to take out this other guy and all that. I just thought a lot of the storytelling was really weird through this.
Me too. Yeah. Do you not think it just reflects what Vince probably thought, was that it really shouldn't be Bret, it should be Luger?
Yeah. His maybe resentful feeling about the fans wanting it to be Bret. Right, I'll give you your Bret, but I'm going to make him look weak doing it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's really bizarre. It's bizarre the way that they set it up. I suppose they both won the Rumble. But you can't do anything. Well, you could do something about it that was slightly different to what they did, but they didn't have a pay-per-view in between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania at the time. So, and they wouldn't have had a triple threat match, I don't imagine. It would always been a one-on-one match, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It was the first triple threat. Oh no, they had WrestleMania 16 at the Four Corners match. That must have been the first multi-man match for the title.
Was it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I don't, as long as you had a reason, which they did, of having at least one of your challengers have another match, which they did with Bret, I can understand going in the direction they went in. It's just not the way I would have done it from a story point of view.
Nah. Even having Perfect in there and the way, and how crucial Perfect was to the way that this finished. Why not stick Crush back in there? And, Cornette managed to get him as the guest referee or something like that and stack the deck against Luger. You can still keep him strong.
Yeah, have him be screwed in the match in a better way, because the way they did it, all I could hear was Perfect just over and over shouting the words, "You can't put your hands on an official. I'm the official." And I was like, right. Okay then.
It's totally bizarre. There was something I was laughing. Mr. Perfect keeps shouting at Yokozuna, he's not going to. Vince even says he's not going to take any abuse from Yokozuna, and I was thinking, what's he going to do? Perfect Plex. I'm like,
it would really show up the fact that Luger only managed to body slam him a couple of times. Perfect hitting, perfect Plexus.
It's such a slow. This is a really bad match. It's so slow. I didn't mind a slow, methodical match, but it doesn't really up the pace anywhere.
Yeah.
I think Luger does slam him at one point, but
he does. I did wonder as well about. I think by this point they're already at the stage where they're concerned about Yoko's weight.
Oh, really?
And are they worried about his ability to get in the ring twice in one night and have a decent match? So may explain away why this one was slow. It just never got going. I never felt as soon as the stuff started, because he's having a go at both. Perfect. He's had to go at both guys a few times. He's had to go at Cornette and Fuji and all that, and it seems balanced. He's just he's being a bit of a dick as a ref, trying to keep absolutely everyone in line. But then from that moment where Luger brings Cornette off the apron into the ring, I just felt like it descended into farce really quickly.
Aye. And I do get he'd hit Yokozuna with the illegal forearm.
Yeah,
that's what he should have been disqualified for.
Yes,
and I get Perfect telling him he needs to get the other guys out of the ring from a sort of official. And Perfect is the arrogant character who'd be like, "You're doing it based on my rules."
Yeah,
but to disqualify him and then have that sort of nonsense coming together afterwards after the match is just nonsense.
Yeah, I didn't mind the refusal to count the pin. I was fine with the refusal to count the pin when both managers were in the ring. That bit made sense. But to go from there to I'm disqualifying you, because like if he'd even properly struck him or something like that, Luger. But it was.
He put his hand on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Like I'm no Luger apologist, but come on. It's ridiculous. So Yoko goes on to face Bret later in the night, and the Lex Express comes screaming to a halt. Where'd they go after this? Do you remember?
I think into a program of Perfect.
Oh, that's what I mean. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Not very memorable, I assume.
No, I don't think so. They're probably facing each other at SummerSlam, but I don't know for sure.
Right. Next up, Harvey Whippleman is in the ring, and he is cutting an aggressive promo on Howard Finkel.
We missed Finkel's wig earlier.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. So he's like, I don't know if they've got some wig company as a sponsor or something like that.
They do, yeah.
Yeah. And Fink he looks thrilled with his new hairpiece, and the crowd are into it as well, and that all happened a good bit earlier.
Yes, it's some guy that's like some sort of this is brilliant research, isn't it? But some sort of wig
master.
I like it. It's like a spin-off from the Puppet Master that we watched. But Finkel pushes Harvey Whippleman to the floor. Adam Bomb comes running out. I genuinely thought it was Razor Ramon. I was like, why is Razor Ramon coming running out? Earthquake comes out, belly to bellies Adam Bomb. We've got a match, apparently. He power slams him and stomps him, does the whatever.
Yeah.
The tremors, and lands on his bum on him, and it's over as quick as it started. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre.
And I think it was a matter of seconds, wasn't it? I think it was the quickest win in Mania history. And
was it?
Yeah, safe to say Vince is over Adam Bomb. He's done with that now.
It was supposed to be Earthquake Borga.
Right. Okay.
I wonder if Earthquake was supposed to squash Borga. Surely no.
Probably not. Yeah.
Pettingill is backstage with Cornette. Cornette calls him Petting Zoo. Yes. Fucking yes. And then Cornette just cuts. I can't even remember what he said. I just sit back and watch these promos. They're just amazing.
It was good. He was talking about like Bret. He goes quite cerebral. He's like talking about, he may have come out of the Owen match with his health intact, but what about his mentality? He's just lost his little brother and all that, and he's properly going in there. I was like, oh yes. He does also refer to Lex Luger as a purring kitten.
Brilliant.
That Yoko turned him into a purring kitten, despite what everyone just saw, which was Yoko owning him completely. Luger owning Yoko completely. Purring kitten.
I enjoyed his WrestleMania fancy get-up with the gold trousers the golden rackets in the back.
It felt like he was so hyped up, Cornette, right from that moment. He's there for the big show.
Brilliant. So I think we might only have 2 matches left. I thought they used the Earthquake Adam Bomb match to sort of bring the crowd back down again. I had it in my head that we had ladder match, then Earthquake, then Bret Yoko.
So it was supposed to be the big tag match that was a come down, and they cut that because Shawn and Razor ran over quite significantly.
That's right. Yeah, you're right, because they do. They try to explain it, don't they? Well, okay, cool. Right, we'll get to that. Okay. So probably one of the more famous matches in WrestleMania history next. Yep. The ladder match for the 2 Intercontinental Champions, Shawn Michaels, who left with the Intercontinental Championship, and that wasn't when he lost his smile. He must have just...
No, that was when he handed over his world title rather than lose it in the ring. That was...
Why did he leave? Oh, we spoke about this. It was like was it a drug thing or something? He was suspended.
He failed a drugs test, so he got suspended. He was adamant, and I think he is still to this day, that he couldn't have failed that test. I don't know if he's saying he had somebody else's piss or what, but he has always maintained that, he could have failed a drug test 100 times, but he couldn't have failed that one. It's like, right. Okay, so he legit refused to return his Intercontinental title, which gave them the storyline idea.
Excellent. They do adapt well at stuff like that. Razor's been doing a good job of keeping the IC title whilst Michaels has been off TV. They did the thing at the last pay-per-view where Michaels got involved and cost Hall the title, didn't he?
Yeah.
He obviously won it back from the IRS at some point between...
Yeah, they didn't. They restarted the match.
Oh, so they did.
Yeah. So it looked like he'd cost them it, but then IRS got screwed.
That's right. Oh, of course, that's right. Yeah. Babyface IRS.
Yep.
We only have the one ladder, which was slightly dodgy because towards the way these guys are propelling that ladder at each other.
It looked at a point like it had buckled.
Right towards the end there.
I was listening to, do you know JBL's been filling in for Bruce Pritchard on his podcast, and he was talking about, things you kind of learn as you go, and he said that the biggest one was probably, hey, we got to have more than one ladder. It very nearly got to a stage where the match couldn't have been finished, which would have been
Hall is looking at it at one point, like, can I climb that?
Yeah.
There's nothing that we can say about this match. It's never been said before, but did you enjoy watching it?
I did.
Like, it's probably been a while since you've seen it.
Yeah, sort of pleasantly surprised because, we've seen so many ladder matches and, sort of similar type extensions of that kind of match, but I do still feel like this held up well.
Yeah, me too.
I think, both guys using it as a weapon, and you do try to think to yourself, well, we hadn't seen this before. I think had there been Stampede Wrestling had done ladder matches,
and
I remember Bret saying he wanted to do one with Owen,
right,
but Vince's take on it was, as we were building up to this, he wanted Bret to just have an in-ring, middle of the ring match with Owen, which I think was probably the right decision.
Right.
But I think Bret was a little bit gutted that the ladder match then got passed over for Shawn and Razor to do.
I think I read that him and Shawn did actually have the first ladder match,
right?
But it was non-televised,
right? Okay.
I think this was Bret showing Vince that it could be done because they'd done it on Stampede, like you say.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I think we experienced this with the first Hell in a Cell match as well, where we expected to go and watch it and it be a bit of an anticlimax because you've seen everything now. It's a bit like, I don't know, like a bit like seeing a movie now and then going back and watching the first ever blockbuster. You're not going to be taken aback by what they do because you've seen it all. But I still felt like you say, like it held up because they're doing stuff with it. You do appreciate that this is the first time that they're doing it, I think. And they are doing impressive stuff, and they're taking a hell of bumps, like throwing it at each other. Like Sabu, you know what Sabu used to do with the chairs? No, that's aye.
Yeah, right at the start, there were some of the bumps that Michaels was taking. He's always been known as a great bumper, and he's in there with one of his good pals, and he is going to do it for him. But it was the bumps Razor was taking later on. I was like, because I liked the sort of storyline side of Razor's the bigger guy, but if Shawn's got a ladder in his hands, he
evens things up
right down.
It actually reminded me quite a lot of Eddie versus Ray for the custody of Dominic. I thought it was a really good ladder match, and this probably is close a match as I remember to that one.
Yeah, it's I wonder. I don't know this off the top of my head. Like what they do a rematch, these two, where apparently Vince told them they couldn't use it as a weapon, really close to the match time. So they had to come up with a totally different kind of match, which I think Shawn said since he's actually quite pleased about, because they didn't just do the same match again. They had to do something totally different. But I couldn't think in those early stages if there had been another one, or if this was number one and then the rematch between these two was number two, and there wasn't really any other. So I think, was that as soon as SummerSlam? It was, right. Yeah. You'd probably feel a bit nervous if you were in the next one after that, thinking, how do we live up? Because as you say, holds up really well. And I felt like throughout the match as well, you're never lost to the fact there's a lot at stake, and it feels like there's a lot at stake because the guys are giving absolutely everything for it. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Think it holds up really well, and sometimes a little bit. Don't get me wrong, they're doing a lot of stuff, but sometimes less is more. They do let things breathe in moments, and let people sort of take in what they're actually seeing.
Yeah, it's actually quite rare. I don't know if I'm talking my arse here because I don't have the knowledge of modern wrestling, but it feels like it would be rare to see a one-on-one ladder match these days.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah.
Because it's normally like a spot fest type match now, which is a shame because I think some of the best, we just spoke about two of them there. Jericho Benoit, was it like Royal Rumble 2001 or something?
Yeah, I think that's about right.
That's an absolute amazing match.
So one, I think there was it Rock and Triple H for a title? I can't remember which title it was that I enjoyed
SummerSlam 98.
as well. Yeah.
That's an Intercontinental title as well.
It's kind of, it's a simplistic thing to say, but that belt hanging up there, or in this case, these two belts, it fits it perfectly. But I do just imagine now people be like, we've got to have tables and something else as well. It can't just be, a ladder match.
Don't you get me started? Fuck it, I'm going. Well, let's go there. Have you watched Survivor Series 2024?
I haven't.
Right. What will you be watching it?
I'm not sure, but speak away about it. There's nothing I would be worried about you spoiling.
They start the pay-per-view with women's war games and they finish with the men's war games.
Okay.
Can go back to back, whatever, fine. Every single woman that came in didn't go straight into the ring. They went under the apron to take something in. I think Naomi took in a fucking toilet seat and a kendo stick or something like that. No joke, every single woman went under the ring to bring something in. The men's match was the same. It's war games. You've got a cage. You're locked in a cage with them. You didn't need a table, a toilet seat, chairs, kendo sticks, whatever, trash cans.
feel like having not seen it, I feel like that kind of thing, what you could do effectively is, the majority of people are in, say you've one person to go in, and maybe they go and get something that's some sort of specialty thing for them, and they're the only one that does it.
Like if Triple H takes in a sledgehammer.
Yeah. I would get it from that point of view, but yeah, that does sound a bit daft.
At one point, one of the women, and War Games always had a roof on the cage as well, because the idea is to put 5 men and another 5 men in there that hate each other and want to get locked in a cage until the other ones have to say, we give up. But they're all diving off the top of it and all that. That Bronson Reed did what Edge did not that long ago, and dived off it and broke his feet.
Oh.
Or broke his ankle or something. Anyway.
Sometimes less is more.
Absolutely. Getting back to this Intercontinental, how beautiful is that Intercontinental title? The face, the face of it.
I love that. I couldn't actually tell you what it looks like now, but I'm assuming it doesn't look as good as that.
No, it doesn't. No, definitely not. I think you've said it all as far as this. The only thing that took me out was the end, because Michaels is supposed to get his leg caught on it, and when he's wriggling about, he actually gets his leg out, so he ends up putting his hand in and getting that stuck in. But
I thought, because I was watching it thinking, I'm assuming he didn't actually mean to release his leg, and then I thought he's pivoted quite well to get his arm trapped in there, although it kind of came across a little bit cartoonish just for that moment. But again, I liked that they were trying to give a reason why he couldn't get to him, because I think that very much keeps him in the mix for the next one. It almost came across as he just got unlucky in that moment. And also, I got a little bit of see when Razor pulls the belts down, he just falls off the top of the ladder.
I know.
Oh!
He proper falls right backwards. It's like life or death. Like, I need these belts, and that's it.
I loved the look of it, and then I was like, is he okay?
Yeah. Love that iconic image of him with his arms out, like the Razor's Edge with both belts. It's amazing. Crazy. I say it's every pay-per-view, but it's crazy to think that he then never doesn't march up the card.
Yeah.
And to think that they had Michaels and Bret at the same time with Owen and Razor, Yokozuna, Crash, all the good tilt-whirlers of the day.
Some might question mentioning Crash, but not me. I'm with you.
We're in on Crash. I wonder where it goes from here. WCW, and then on a motorbike somewhere. Right, okay. So we cut to the backstage area. You've got AFA, the Hedge Drinkers, Jeff Jarrett, IRS. Anyone else? That was all. They're all arguing with each other.
Yeah.
About who's going to be team captain or something.
Yep.
Oh, we can't have the match because they can't decide.
That was
Vince, by the way, not Paul Bearer.
Who were the opponents due to be?
Sparky Plug. 123 Kid. Oh, are you looking it up? Probably. I looked it up earlier too. Is this it? Nope.
Well, IRS was in the heel team.
What was it? Oh, right, okay. Smoking Guns. Imagine how raging you'd have been.
I'm glad this was all called off.
And Tatanka.
I've heard Chris Pritchard say before, it's like, you know when people go long and you have to cut somebody's match, everyone's furious. Everyone's always pretty angry that happened.
Is that a payday thing? It must be, eh?
Well, yeah. Now, apparently they paid them as if they had been on the show, the guys that didn't get to have their match. They got paid. But Pritchard said that, when Shawn and Razor walked back after that match, there isn't really anyone having a go at them. You're kind of like, yeah, we lost the 10-man tag, but we did just get that. So, yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I think I'm fairly sure Bob Hollywood had something to say.
Oh, yeah.
Just a thing to note that Kevin Nash apparently said that he got paid $10,000 for his participation in that match, which was, I think, to clothesline Razor on the outside and then get sent to the back.
It definitely landed a strike, and then was it your boy Hebner? Was it?
Yeah, probably
sent him back.
Oh, gimp.
Obviously, he's not getting to work the title matches, so he has to keep himself busy.
Why? Oh, of course. I was going to say, why is he not getting to? But yeah. So that takes us to WrestleMania. Is there Here's a question for you, Adam. Has there ever been WrestleManias where we have had back-to-back main events? Or Rock Cena, probably.
Rock Cena.
Much to Phil Brooks's annoyance.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Austin and Rock never went back-to-back because they went 15, 17, 19, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hogan's never went back-to-back with anybody, I don't think.
Nah, because he had the Andre one, and then he did face him in the next one, but it was in the tournament, and it was in the early stages of the title tournament.
Roman Lesnar went back-to-back, maybe?
Yeah, that's possible, yeah.
They definitely did 31. They maybe go do 31 and 32.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
God damn it. Well, here we go. We go back to back. We've got Bret versus Yoko. Hopefully nobody draped in yellow and red with a black eye getting involved this time at least. But we do get our announcement of our is it Burt Reynolds as our guest ring announcer?
Burt Reynolds is the guest ring announcer, yeah.
And the hair guy, maybe. Is he the timekeeper?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
He announces Rowdy Roddy Piper. He pops up every time, doesn't he, Piper?
Yeah. I often feel like I could do without him.
So do I. I think it feels harsh. I still don't feel like I've got a proper appreciation for what Piper is.
Yeah. I even remember in the old days, it's difficult because when I was watching the very early WrestleManias, a lot of the later WrestleManias already existed. I was just going back and getting the videotapes and watching those. But I remember even thinking it a bit weird that Roddy Piper was like up against Hulk Hogan, or seeming up against Hulk Hogan in the first WrestleMania. It was a tag thing, obviously, but I think because I wasn't in it at that time, he didn't feel like he was at that level, but I know he was considered to be like a super heel, like a brilliant
big
heel
antagonizer of Hogan.
Yeah, and then he's gone through his kind of good guy Intercontinental level run and all that, and that was fine. But yeah, it's just there a lot.
Yeah, I think the best thing that Piper's, I'm not going to say painted himself half and half. The best thing that I think he's done at a WrestleMania is his match versus Bret, I think, for me.
Yeah.
But anyways, a special guest referee. Do you notice he had like the Tasmanian Devil on his t-shirt? But it had Roddy Piper on the back. That can't be official.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
We've got Bret limping out. I love Bret Hart, but this pissed me off. For God's sake, get a rest. Stick some strapping on it or something. It's what you want. It's what you've wanted.
Oh. Get a cacodamol down your neck. You'll be fine.
Exactly. I like Piper punching Cornette on the outside. That made me laugh. Cornette sells every punch the exact same. He seems to just sort of dive in the air. Why was Piper counting so slowly?
It was so slow.
Who was it that we watched a TNA match and somebody was refereeing and they were it was like a legend. It wasn't a Harley Race, was it?
It might have been. I do remember this.
And they were was it Mongo McMichaels?
I think it was, yeah.
He was worse than Piper here, but Piper was so
like
slow.
10 minutes per. It was. But yeah, like, because there seemed to be a bit of debate, or they were trying to make you think, Piper's a good guy, so he'll be anti-Yoko. Oh no, wait, Piper and Bret faced each other at a Mania, so maybe not. And it never really played off as anything other than Piper is just going to count really fucking slowly for everyone, which is, it's fair. It's doing the same thing for both. But yeah, I kind of... I wanted him really early on to have to disappear and just get somebody else out and just make it proper.
Because Piper takes up a lot of space, doesn't he?
He wants to suck up that energy, that limelight. Yeah.
Aye, there's no other way, unfortunately. See, now you've said that about Yokozuna and them being concerned about his weight and all that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see the same Yokozuna that we've seen, I don't think, do we?
He doesn't seem to do or to try to do as much from like an agility point of view. And again, I do know that part of the reason they wanted to take the title off him, because I think they all loved him, and I can see why. We've talked about his facials being amazing and all that through the Undertaker run and stuff like that. He, at his best, he's huge, he's intimidating. You would look and think, how are you going to beat that guy? And he's got, I think, the perfect setup with Cornette and Fuji and all that. It just works. But they wanted to take it off him, and I think it's because they wanted to send him somewhere on like a program to lose weight, because I think they were getting worried. And I think it was one of them where when he joined, they were like, "Oh my God, he's that big," and then they're like, "Oh my God, he's getting bigger." Okay, so it's a shame because he's such a good worker.
Oh, he is amazing. Well, you've definitely told me this before, that he became obsessed with getting bigger and bigger, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like he wanted to get
he couldn't stop. Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
It's horrible, eh?
Yeah.
Do you know if there's any good documentaries about him or anything?
I'm not sure. I've never seen one. If there is, I'd be definitely be interested in one.
Yeah, I'd like to see one. And given his link to what, like a lot of the prominent stars now and stuff like that, I think it's quite interesting to see all that and see them talking about him.
And I think he was like backstage as well, by the sounds of it, just massively respected. Like I think everyone, they talk about the crew he had with like Taker and a few others. I think used to all play dominoes and stuff together in the back. Bone Street Crew, is that what it was?
Yeah, that's what he's got tattooed in his stomach, or Undertaker's got it.
The SK, yeah. And I think he and Taker around here had just, or a wee bit before this, had just started that whole thing.
Right.
But JBL again, he was talking about, you could always tell by see if they were going on long bus journeys. Obviously, Yoko's a big guy, and there was what was considered to be the Andre spot on the bus. But sometimes you got a big guy that wouldn't get that spot, even if they would really benefit from being in that spot. Like it's back seat, right in the middle type seat. And he didn't say names, but I got the impression he was kind of saying, if we're on that bus, Mabel ain't getting that seat.
Yes, fucking
Yoko's getting that seat. It's because everyone apparently, everyone just respected him massively.
Amazing. Do you think that's why they made Mabel King of the Ring? Because they were worried about Yokozuna, and they liked
looking for a.
It's what they did with Luger and Hogan, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it didn't work.
Nah. Fast forward, he's going about with weird contact lenses on, and he's got some sort of leather fetish.
Oh, really uncomfortable scenes with, was it Lillian Garcia? Yeah.
Yeah. And Ragdoll and Trish Stratus.
Oh. Yeah.
So I've in my notes, I think I've been a little bit annoyed with this match, and I've jumped straight to the finish. As far as moves are concerned, I've got Yokozuna catching Bret coming off a second rope, hitting a lovely belly to belly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about all I've got until the finish. I didn't know the sort of narrative of the match. I can't remember, and I only watched it the other day.
Yoko, apart from a few moments of comeback, Yoko basically dominates the match. He's getting a hell of a lot of offense in. It's like they're making Bret the plucky, won't quit guy. And yeah, Yoko's battering him. There's a massive leg drop, and then he goes a bit crazy heel. He's like biting Bret's forehead. And that's when I'm getting annoyed in my notes about Piper's cover speed. But yeah, I hated the finish. I absolutely hated it.
So let's describe the finish and then let's talk about it. So Yoko is on the second rope. He's going to do his banzai drop. And he just, like cartoon character style, starts wobbling and falls backwards. Supposedly hits his head. And is that it? Bret just jump on him and pins him. It's not like he does anything to him. Take advantage of it.
No.
So Samoans are notorious for being able to take headshots and keep going.
Yep.
All through the, like, anybody that's ever watched a head shrinkers match, or anybody, you headbutt a Samoan, it hurts you.
Yeah.
Right? So Yoko falls back. He's no Samoan, though.
No.
Damn it.
That's the thing.
I've just stuck a massive big hole in my argument.
Yeah.
Damn it.
He's allegedly not Samoan. Yeah. And
Okay.
I'm sure, like, did they not? Was there not a spot in that Undertaker casket match where he sells having the hard head as well? Because I think Taker tries to hit him with the salt bucket thing, and it doesn't have too much of an effect on him.
Yeah.
But no, they're all over the place with this. But the way this story works is if you put over Bret strong. Like, he's had a loss on the night. He's already lost to his little brother. And now he's had the luckiest title win that we've ever seen.
That's like a chicken shit heel type way to win.
He barely landed an offensive move in the match. And he won the title because the guy fell and hit his head.
Like, wouldn't the excellence of execution have came out and targeted the ankles of the massive guy to immobilise him?
Now, I imagine they're hoping, Yoko will come back and be able to be top level again. That's fine. You can still have Bret get the win. You can have him get a good, clean win, and then just, they have a rematch at some point down the line. That's fine. That's allowed.
Does he ever put him in the sharpshooter?
I think he tries, and it's like he can't get it on.
Right.
Like the legs are just too thick for him to actually get it on.
There's I was going to say, just wondering the way they could have done it, but anyway, they could have done it. I mean, have Cornette smack him in the head with a racket and Bret move it the way. And
because they'd already planted some Cornette seeds with, remember the whole thing about the casket match with the contract and then missing a bit of detail and stuff like that. And I felt like it would have been prime for doing something like that, especially if he needs to go away for a while, which by the sounds of it he did. You could have had Cornette cost him, and it would have been, it's not to say it would have made Bret look, your superhero champion, but it just would have been better. It would have given you something.
Yep. You've had all these heels come out to help him with Undertaker, have Crush come out and inadvertently nail him. Fucking give Jeff, no, don't put Jeff Jarrett, don't involve him in the don't involve him in the main event of WrestleMania. God, Owen could have come out and cost him.
Yeah, Owen could have come out and, be seen to be in to try and help Yoko, and somehow cost Yoko. Could have done that. Or could have had Owen deliberately help Bret win. Real head scratcher for everyone, but, Owen,
I beat the champion. I want my shot at him.
I'm first in line. I beat him tonight. Yeah. But no, they just came up with a finish that I could not see a single bit of upside for.
I didn't remember it. Did you remember that being the finish until you watched it?
No, I remembered that he fell. I thought, though, that Bret then did something, like an offensive move.
Like his elbow off the second rope or something.
Yeah, something to take advantage of the fact that he'd fallen. But, nah.
Questionable. And then we get the party planner, Macho Man Randy Savage, getting all the faces in the ring.
All the big names. Sparky
Plug's in there celebrating. Well done, mate. You were definitely involved in this. Like Bret doesn't. The way that he's just done that, like he's taken down this champion that's been champion for a year by pouncing on him as he's falling off the rope. Like
when you're going, even like when you're going to do the big celebration, I'm not saying it was quite as bad as Lex getting the big celebration when he won by countouts and didn't win the belt, but to do the big celebration for a lucky win, it felt
like
just shit.
Here's the equivalent: Cody beating Roman after Roman's run roughshod over every single face competitor that they've had using the bloodline and all that. Have all the faces come out and celebrate with him. That makes sense.
Yeah.
No, with this. And I get they probably did it so that Savage could sit in the ropes and offer Owen in the ring to celebrate with his brother. That makes sense.
And I don't mind that element of it. I think I'm just really annoyed about the way the match played out, especially the finish.
You could argue that Razor Ramon deserved the that sort of celebration after his match.
He probably wouldn't, after he fell off that ladder, he wouldn't want anyone lifting him on their shoulders, though.
Get off me, man. Shall I look at the Wrestling Observer ratings for this match?
Okay.
See what they for this pay-per-view. Let's see what they gave these matches. Because I feel like I thought that this was an absolute, just perfect WrestleMania, and when you watch it, it's just not the same, is it?
It's 97%.
It's what? 97% a good pay-per-view, is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Owen Bret got 4 3/4 stars.
Okay.
Obviously the quarter is for the bits at the start that I picked up on. What do you call it? Collar and elbow tie-ups, that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Intercontinental Title match was a 5-star.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And that's it.
They're the only ones with the... Okay.
Sickeningly no stars for the dark match. The Heavenly Bodies defeating the Bushwhackers.
Oh.
That's who the main event was of the build-up show. Jimmy Del Rey versus Bret Hart.
Oh, amazing.
Because that's how they signed off the Raw, with Jimmy Del Rey doing that jiggling thing that he was doing to the camera, and Vince was like, ugh.
Oh, not again, Jimmy.
How bizarre, eh?
Was it Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So, there we go. A highly disappointing, poor showing from the WWF Wrestlemania, in my opinion.
I think that the 2 matches that I really, really enjoyed were enough for me.
Fair.
I think I could have done without, Doink and Dink. I could have done without that women's match, and I just wanted everything about the Savage and Crush match to be different. And the storytelling of the 2 title matches were a problem for me. They didn't really make a lot of sense. So yeah, if you really want to nitpick, 97% perfect.
For me, and I know that you won't share this at all, but I enjoy WrestleMania 9 over WrestleMania 10.
Is it because of Bobby Heenan going backwards on that? Is it an elephant? Is that what they've got going? When he's being brought into the arena.
Damn it, maybe. It might be the... I'm just looking at the matches for WrestleMania 9. I genuinely think it might be because of Doink versus... Nah, I'm just joking, but I just have fond memories of JR and his toga at WrestleMania 9.
Okay.
So, we're on the cusp of a move to Netflix for the network. We both can't sleep at night at the prospect of not having the in-your-house pay-per-views available to watch. Normally we would be going... Well, normally this would be us... This episode would have been us discussing the Raws between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, but on the off chance that things disappeared, we jumped to WrestleMania. What we watch next is a choice of 2 different things. We were talking about King of the Ring 94, neither of us is particularly enthused at the prospect of King Mabel, but there'd be other things on that show. Alternatively, we could sign off our WWE Network subscription with watching a pay-per-view of our choice.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Preference?
Because if everything we need ended up on the network quickly, we would be able to just continue.
Yeah.
So it would have made sense to do King of the Ring. But I don't want to end on King of the Ring.
Great point. And even if the pay-per-views do go on, there's nothing to say that 21st of September 1994 Raw is on.
Yeah.
It's going to go on. I have a horrible feeling they're going to put on like best of Raws, 10 years of Raw, 20 years of Raw, but not all the Raws.
I that's definitely possible. I mean, when you think about the sheer volume of content, the weekly TV shows might well be something they look at and think, we can't take it. We just can't do that. And
they might go somewhere else. We've talked about that. What's it? The Vault.
The Vault
YouTube
thing,
and they've got like the Broken Skull sessions and some of the documentaries and stuff they've started moving over, so they might go there. I can't imagine them putting full episodes, full years worth of Raws onto YouTube either.
Yeah.
But if I had to put a gun to your head, which I'm not going to do, and just go like, what pay-per-view would you like to? Shall we both pick a pay-per-view and then, I don't know, work out what we're going to watch? What would you want to do? What would you want to do?
Yeah,
what about an era?
So pick an era and then we both pick a pay-per-view from it, or pick an era and just pick what we think is the best show.
If I was asking you what you would want to do, what would you think if you could do anything?
Oh, I don't know. I'm really bad at trying to think of like even the shows that took place in each era off the top of my head.
Fair,
like
that's fair.
The big ones. Have you got anything in mind?
Obviously.
Well, silly question.
I've got two in mind, and they're both for the same era. But I don't want to suggest them because I feel like you'll just say yes. Normally I get away in my own head, and then after we log off this, I'll just play. Actually, what about this? Remember when Brutus the Barber Beefcake was the disciple? That's our thing. Do you think they'll put on WCW pay-per-views and ECW as well? I was thinking.
Yeah, I hope so. And it's not to say it's that I want to go back and watch a lot of that stuff, because I feel like we have watched quite a bit of that stuff. But we're so used to having everything just there at the click of a button, and it's.
Do you worry you've taken it for granted a little bit?
Like because I think you just assume it'll always be there. Once it starts, you assume it'll always be there. And I've gone through stages, especially before we started doing the podcast. I've gone through stages of having it and just not really watching anything on it. And now I look back and think, I should have watched everything. Everything.
Totally. Can I throw some out? I've got 4.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's 4. WrestleMania 18. Rock Hogan.
All right. Okay.
Austin, Scott Hall.
Right. Yep.
That sort of era. WrestleMania 19, which is Lesnar, Angle, Rock Austin.
Okay.
Can't remember what else is on that show. And there's good tag team stuff in that. I want to see like Team Angle versus like Eddie and Chavo, maybe? Is that WrestleMania 19? Versus like Edge and Ray or something like that.
Yeah.
The Invasion pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And the Survivor Series to sort of that bookends the Invasion. I can't remember what that would be. Would that be Survivor Series 2001?
That must be about right. It must be right from the timeline. Yeah. Yeah.
So you got like Austin, Angle, Booker T. I can't remember who's in that, but the main event's Team WWF versus Team Alliance. Those are the 4 that sort of jump out at me as things that would feel like sort of fun to watch. Any of them jump out at you?
So, I don't know why, but I feel like I remember Mania 19 pretty clearly.
Right.
So I may have seen it a few times.
Right, scrap that.
Mania 18, I'm not really remembering. It's so weird because
Jericho Triple H main event.
So is that when was Jericho kind of aligned with Stephanie?
Aye.
Yeah. And Triple H had come back at the Rumble to quite a lot of fanfare.
Aye. Yeah. You're putting me off it as you talk.
I kind of remember that. For whatever reason, I feel like I remember Mania 19 really well.
Right.
I'm just looking at the Survivor Series. That is the end of the invasion.
Ric Flair
angle
shows up on TV the next night after that,
and I don't really remember it.
Is there have you got the match? Have you got the card in front of you?
Yeah.
Is there like a battle royal for some whoever wins it gets a contract regardless of who wins or something like that?
No. Immunity battle royal.
Aye.
Yeah. So whoever wins that is basically guaranteed their job regardless of who comes out on top in the. Yeah. But I don't. This intrigues me because I really don't remember it. Just as I'm looking at it.
Christian must have moved. Christian is in that. I can remember, and Christian's on the Alliance side. I don't remember him moving over, but I remember him being in that and being on the Alliance side. So
yeah, I'd be up for watching that because I just don't really remember it.
Okay. Do you want to do the Raw before it plus that?
So, as long as I remember to do the Raw this time.
At least we know that the storyline will play through for him.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there'll be a SmackDown, actually, won't it? Well, shall we do the SmackDown before it? Whatever the show is before it, let's do
the show just before, which probably will be the SmackDown. And that will be our Christmas show.
Awesome. Is that us decided?
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Cool.
I think the fact I don't really remember it makes it quite appealing.
I don't even remember how it finishes or anything. I do remember that you and I thought we could book it much better and ended up coming up with a draw for who would win the invasion.
Yeah. I think it's generally accepted that the invasion wasn't done as well as it could be, but how it could have been done better, that's still a tricky one.
We don't have the answers for that. We just have the critique.
Like, the guys who are paid to do it didn't do it well. It's not easy. Nobody's saying it's easy. Although, we definitely could have done Mania 10 better than it was done.
I was just thinking the same, yeah. I would add Bam Bam Landon Dink as well.
Forget rewriting it the way either title match went. Just have Bam Bam absolutely finish off Dink.
And have Vader interfere in every match and wreck everybody.
Oh.
I don't know what age Christian would be at this point as well, but we could have him as well get involved.
Is he still delivering the vicious promos these days?
I don't know. The only sort of AEW thing that I check out these days is to see what Shelton, MVP, and Bobby Lashley are up to, because they're doing the sort of Hurt Business type gimmick in AEW.
Shelton's there, is he?
Oh, Shelton's putting on Shelton matches every week.
Oh, nice. He's suited to a company like that.
Aye. Like he can be just a workhorse, and he's a bit bigger these days, certainly compared to this era's wrestlers. So he's just like hoying boys about and wrecking them. Brilliant.
Nice.
Okay. On to the Christmas edition. Will you be wearing something festive?
I do have a Santa costume, but I feel like that would be a bit overkill.
Our first ever video podcast.
Now, I have a Santa costume because it's not for anything dodgy.
Nobody suggested it was for anything dodgy.
It's just for the sake of me playing Santa.
Playing with yourself?
Nah, no. Well, nah.
Okay.
But I don't really want to. Nah, I'll probably just stick to the normal sort of clothing. Maybe I'll try and grow the beard a little bit because it's a little bit disappointingly short right now.
But well, in 2 weeks' time, I'm sure I'll barely be able to see you for beard.
It does go that quickly.
You've got a Paul Hartley-esque talent for growing beards really quickly.
Yeah, I felt a little bit bad. Got shaved last week, but it's already there's a bit.
A bit.
A bit.
Okay.
I'm more worried about just how white it is.
Well, for this time of year, it's appropriate.
That's true. But yeah, I don't want to give away my true identity. So yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You mean as Santa?
Yeah.
Aye. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. What a load of shite we're waffling here. We shall go then, and Survivor Series 2001 plus the SmackDown before we will discuss in 2 weeks' time.
If Netflix do add everything that we would need, do I then have to watch Mabel win King of the Ring?
To be continued.
Okay.
How do you feel about 93, 94? Do you feel like you still have the same juice for it?
I would ideally like to keep it going.
Okay.
Like the only reason I didn't want to do the next show is if we can't then follow it up and go to completion. I didn't want to end on that show. But yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff I have seen, but I've never rewatched. It's I'm finding some of the stories interesting. I think it'll be interesting as we go, because we'll obviously be going towards a Bret and Owen storyline continuing for a little while.
Saying that, we have covered SummerSlam 94.
We have, that's true. Yeah,
they have the steel cage match, and
yeah,
yes, we've definitely done that. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, I think is that basically it for Bret and Owen. Is that kind of?
I think it is. Yeah.
So I wonder where things go from there, because I can't even think what we are at Mania 11 in terms of the main storylines.
Never seen Mania 11.
You've never seen Mania 11?
Never seen Mania 11.
I couldn't tell you a single thing on it, but I know that I've seen it.
Bam Bam Lawrence Taylor.
Bam Bam Lawrence Taylor.
That's reason enough to continue on it.
Yeah, that is actually, from what I remember, it's actually pretty good.
Why don't we then? Because fuck Mabel winning King of the Ring. Why don't we, if everything goes as we hope it does with Netflix, why don't we just start from Survivor Series 94?
Okay.
Take her Yoko.
We know we've seen the SummerSlam and fuck Mabel. So yeah.
Fuck Mabel. Right, okay. But we'll go Survivor Series 2001 for our next one, for a little goodbye at the network celebration. And then hopefully Netflix doesn't do like it does with every decent show and cancels it after one season.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'm sorry that WrestleMania 10 was a letdown for you.
I'd had the time of my life.
Damn. Do you know what? The time of my life. Fink with a wig on was enough for some.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that Survivor Series is everything that it can be. It's great for the testicles, I can tell you that.
Oh. Spoiler.
Sorry, I apologise. Maybe down the line we could do Andrew Martin's run in TNA at some point.
Oh. Was it a lengthy, significant run?
a lengthy testicle run? I don't think so, no. Unfortunately. I think he went full on steroids when he got to TNA. And, well, yeah, we know the rest.
Yeah.
Right,
okay.
You take it easy and we'll speak before Christmas.
Cheers.
Okay, cheers.